Remix. 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 Remix.
Oh, yeah. Welcome out. Yeah. This is no other than the Remix Morning Show. Giving you that boom bap breakfast in case you didn't know. Welcome out, y'all. This is Black Liberation Media. I go by the name of the Ear Doctor, and we got something for you today. Yes, I hope y'all had a great weekend, and I hope y'all ready for a great week. As I speak, we got our host coming in, but they ain't here yet. So you know what I do. I give you a quick mix to get it started off until they get here. Big up to all my people in the chat room. I see y'all coming on in. Let's do it like this. Y'all cool with that?
In the beginning.
Let's take y'all back.
In the beginning.
Let's get this morning started off right. Come on.
Just like that, just like that, just like that, I ran understand you. Just like that, just like that, just like that, I ran understand you. I used to be in love with this guy named Sam. I don't know why, cause he had the head like that of a clam. But you couldn't tell me nothing, cause Sam was number one. Cause to me, oh my gosh, he was 1 in a million. I should've knew the consequences right from the start. That he'd use me for my money and then break my heart. But like a fool in love, I fell for this game, but I got mine, so I show no shame. And if Empire winked his eye, and then he kept walking. All of those who live in Brooklyn know just what I'm talking. The roller disco, where we all used to go, just to have some fun back in 1981.
Let me take y'all back.
A teenage love.
Y'all remember them days?
Don't hurt me.
First falling in love. It was a wild time. Let's go.
Hey sport, here's a thought from the old school crew. A serious situation we all go through. It deals with your feelings, so hear what I say. It's like a dive when nothing seems to go your way. Bust this, two people, they really like each other. He says there's no one else and she claims there is no other. The feeling's the same when you receive a notion to reveal your inner thoughts and deeply in emotions.
Hey girl, you wanna be with me? Because I need someone to be with, someone to talk to. You go on to be with
all the lovers out there.
You need someone to be with.
We started off with love, y'all.
You wanna be with me?
Come on.
Because I need someone to be with, someone to talk to. You go on to be with me. Because you need someone to be with, someone to talk to.
Because the way I live nowadays, people are different. They act real funny towards me. They say I think I'm nice. Why? Because I'm making records, but I'm still the same Dr. Ice.
Say with me, they make me laugh. People get jealous.
You got any autographs?
I try to prove
B was coolin' at the Palladium, seen an all world cover girl.
I said, hey lady,
I'm sorry if you're in a rush. Don't let me hold you up or intervene or interrupt. But you got the look. I wanna get to know you better. I had to let her know, but yo, I didn't sweat her. Cause if you would've seen what I was saying, almost looked Korean, but European. When she spoke, her accent was self-explanatory. Even her body language told a story. Her name was Mahogany, twins' name was Ebony. I said my name is Ra, and this is Eric B.
I met this new girl with big juicy lips and nice round hips. I mean, her body's a trip.
And when I go over her house,
you know what I like? The way she tells me take it off. And never says like, no, I'm never in need. She's feeding my greed. She never wait for me to ask. She takes the lead. Her tongue is sticky, and hickeys are her specialty. Eve wants her, but she saves the good stuff for me. Her name is Candy. She's dandy up and dandy Dawn. You're mad and I'm happy that she put me on. I never leave her for nothing. Only a crazy man would. That's why I had to tell you that.
let's get it. Take you from NYC, West Coast. Let's go. No. Welcome out to the Remix Morning Show. We get it started with a mix. We remixing it, y'all. Let's go.
So many battlefield scars while driven in plus cars. These life is a rap star. It's nothing without guard. With form rough and rugged. I dress in the mass public. My attitude was bucket. These motherfuckers love it to be a soldier. Must maintain composure at ease. Don't like it's complicated. Only what you make it to be. And my bitches as a rider. The catch you while she hot. And horns go up inside her. Then I spit some game in the ear.
That's what we doing right here, yo. Once again, welcome out to the Remix Morning Show. I go by the name of the Ear Doctor, and yo, I can't do it by myself, so I gotta bring through the crew. Once again, you know who he is. His name is Kamal K. Franklin. Yeah.
Crew today? I am the crew.
Nah, you ain't the crew. We got some more crew coming through. In case you didn't read the text. Jared's gonna be a little late. We also got another guest host coming through today, so you know.
Who's the guest host? Do I know them?
Yeah, I guess you didn't read that text neither. Yes, you do know them. We actually got to work with them in DC where they provided us a space when we went live. Do you remember that name?
I think I do. Is it
I always mess his name up.
Oh, I know exactly who you're talking about. Because I'm not supposed to say this. But you know, in the activist circles, he dated somebody who I know.
What?
One date. They had one date.
I mean, ain't that how it is when you work in a certain space?
Yeah. In fact, like when he comes, I hope you talk about the date.
Oh, okay. People in the chat room already done said who it is. So
who is it?
Come on, man.
Oh, I mean, I know. I thought they knew who the date person was. I thought they knew who he dated.
Nah, you know, Elon knows it.
I know who he dated.
Okay. Oh, who you gonna tell us? Or you gonna wait for him? Yeah, let's wait.
I should wait. It's more fun if I wait.
Yeah. How was your weekend, man?
Fun. I never remember my weekends anymore. You know, they're not like.
How was your past hour?
Okay, I spent that in the car. The first half of it, I spent, yelling to make sure we got out the house in time. Then in the second half was like the smooth car ride, that kind of thing. So, thank you for that. That's helpful.
What?
When the dementia actually kicks in for real.
Yeah.
Like, how's the hour?
Yeah.
No, how was your weekend and/or last hour?
My weekend was great. I actually do remember. You know what I do with my son? I got a special handshake with him. So when I get older, he'll know if I'm off or not. Like when we do the handshake and I don't do it right, he'll be like, "You all right, Pops?" You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
you should get a
How
handshake.
How intricate is the handshake?
It's bam, 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 bam. It's like that. One of those.
That's a lot. So do you have to practice that? Is it like athletes when they practice their handshakes?
We got it down. I mean, it's pretty.
But you had to. Who came up with the handshake? Was it the mutual?
I did. Yeah. You know, I just want to be that cool dad.
Oh.
But I pretty much am. But I had a good weekend. I did a wedding out at this place. It was real nice. They love.
You're doing a lot of weddings, man. This is not even wedding season. You get a lot of weddings.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, this wedding.
I thought wedding season was like June, July,
September, October. It slows down in November, and then you start getting ready for
my
the
wedding
Christmas.
was in September.
See, look at that, and then you start getting ready for the Christmas parties and Kwanzaa parties.
What's the slow time of year?
January.
January's not that good.
Oh my God, January is the worst. There's nothing to celebrate.
Because everybody's getting over all the other.
The New Year, and then after that, January is nothing. Next thing you know is Black History Month, and then
you get DJ job. Oh, because it's like let's talk about Black History in the day, and at night we're gonna party. Kind of
it's not much of February neither. So that's pretty much.
Oh, February's not a good month.
Nah, I stack like a squirrel, man.
Wow.
So I gotta hold it down. I gotta hold it down after the first, and then wait till January, February, March. About March, April. That's when they start.
It's a good thing you make so much at Black Liberation Media. I don't owe you no money, right? We don't owe you no money.
Nah, yo.
Okay.
Not yet. But that was good. My daughter had her little prom thing. I got to not prom, homecoming. So I got to go take her to get her dress.
So she done with high school,
huh?
This was her last year in high school?
No. Whoa. This is our first year. Freshmen have homecomings now. I don't get it. But yeah, they had a
Freshmen
yeah,
have homecomings.
yeah,
Homecoming.
yeah.
They just want to think of any
They
reason.
just
to make you
and
buy
charge
stuff.
you money for it. 35
Yeah.
to get in. Had to buy a dress. That was about 100. And then she went and got a silk press for 3 hours. Washing silk press. This was like $150. I was like, man, I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah, anything to get that money, B. That's what it is. Yeah.
So you ain't get there yet, but you'll be there soon.
You know, like she's discovered the hair thing, and now she's trying to like do. She likes braids right now, so she's doing the braids. But she's trying to do what's the with the size they doing all the curl. Is that that's not a silk press?
What
is
you
it?
mean, baby hair thing?
Yeah, the baby hair thing. Like So she's trying to do a little of that now, but she's doing it real badly. I can't tell that.
Look like her hair is crying.
Yeah, I was like, what's happening with that? I was like, okay. All right. Well, at least you got here to do it. So I was like, okay, go for
But
it.
you know, I talked to the sister the other day, and she was telling me how much it costs for her personal care a month, and it's about $1,000. Yeah. Yes. Hair, nails, wax, eyelashes. I was like, wow.
How much can eyelashes cost?
Eyebrows.
That's damn things.
Eyebrows, eyelashes. I mean, yeah.
The threading. When I first saw the threading being happen, I was like, yo, this is a skill. I've never seen this kind of. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. And the thing is, I'm used to dating like all natural sisters, so I ain't never had to pay for no hair done, no eyelashes,
You're
no
not.
wax.
You're not expected to. It costs $200 for lashes.
Yeah.
No. No. I know I'm old, but no. There's no way nobody's paying $200 for lashes.
To get braids is like $250.
Well, I know what braids. Yeah, my daughter gets braids. We don't pay that much. We pay
Yeah.
the Ethiopians. They a little cheaper, B.
Oh
They're a
yeah,
little cheaper,
yeah.
Ethiopians.
You gotta fuck with the Dominicans.
The
Stop
Africans.
playing. Africans. Yeah, Africans be doing it for like $50. They don't play. You can't. Yeah.
Then she tries to convert my daughter every time she's there. Then she tries to convert her.
Oh, word.
So my daughter's always coming back with stories about like being like her talking about Jesus to her.
Oh, word. She hit her with the Ethiopian cross.
Always with the Jesus. Always with the Jesus. Ask her if she read her Bible.
Haile Selassie.
Yeah. No. Fuck Haile Selassie. Have you read your Bible, B? Your Bible.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's not even. Oh, okay.
No, Haile Selassie is the king.
The king of king, Lord of lords.
Yeah. And now you mixing in some Rastafarianism in it.
I mean, that is Selassie, Rastafarianism.
But that's them, the Marcus, and but yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a bunch of, but you know how it is, like Rastafarian is Jamaican worshiping of that.
Mhm.
The Ethiopians are like, he was the king, but what do? Y'all worship the Ethiopians? Because they're mostly Christian. They're Christians and Muslims. That's the vast majority of their population. So for them, it's a little bit of like that's kind of cool, whatever. And then some people have adopted, but the Christian woman who does the braids really well and cheaply.
Yeah.
She
Okay.
preaches Jesus.
Speaking of doing hair, let's read it up to now. Netfa.
He tried so hard to get your name, B. He tried so hard.
I got it, Netfa. Netfa, we right.
Yeah, that's
But
right.
First you were like, nah,
Come on, man. I had to
He does look like the Black Jesus. You do look like Black Jesus.
John will always be talking that
Lot of mercy.
Why I gotta be a Black Jesus with straight blonde?
This Jesus. You like Jesus, not even straight.
Yeah,
Jesus.
for real, man.
I don't need to put no moniker on it.
Yeah, so praise
How
the
are
Most
you
High.
doing? Thank you so much for joining us. Nobody told me.
Oh, thank you for having me. This is
He just didn't
an
read
important
the text.
time, pivotal time in the Pan-African movement. It's actually the world,
You gonna come on here and be
So-
serious? Is that what you're trying to do? Be serious?
No,
I'm
no,
not.
Like,
Well,
You
know,
co-host with me.
actually-
When you co-host with me, I am the worst. Like, they got to drag me into serious mode, and then I will
To
get
news.
whatever.
No, you
Well,
always
you guys
serious
put
when I
something
come
to
on. I was trying to be like you always are when I come on. But now we always joke around. But you know, I turned into a pumpkin shortly because I got my own radio show going on.
What time? I thought you were here until 10. I was told.
No, I can't. I have Tuesdays. I never. I do that on other days, but Tuesdays I have WPFW Voices with Vision at
And
9
what,
o'clock.
9?
Yeah.
Almost feel you.
And then this is
over
fun drive time, so I have to kind of be on there a little early, you know.
You gonna come like so about Wednesday, Thursday, Friday? You gonna come on other days? Is this a regular now?
Sure, I can. Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, you know, I love chopping it up with y'all.
Oh, this is fantastic! I don't know why you haven't done this earlier. So you will be a regular host.
Oh no! Wait a minute.
Not every day, but I mean like Wednesday, Thursday, like
I was the top recruiter, boy. I tell you.
What?
Once
No,
a week,
I
son.
don't know. I can't.
I can see you on Tuesdays. So.
I can't commit to
Before
that.
you
I
do
would love
You
to,
gotta do
but
a show, but Wednesday or Thursday, you can do one of those days. Come on, son. We need you. We need you. You see what the condition is. Everybody's late. We need you.
I'm up here doing mixes
I'm late
on
too.
a Tuesday morning. And
Well, I guess I'm not late, but
Well, I mean, you can't. Yeah, it's the first time. Wednesday or Thursday or
what
Friday.
you doing?
Wednesday,
I see what you're doing there. That's good. Come out.
No, you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. I was talking about you before you came on, though.
Yeah, he was.
About your history.
Yeah.
Which I like to bring up with you now since I found out.
Would you say that again?
No, I said I was talking about you before you came on about your history, but I think I told you, I said it to you before. It's a controversial part of your history.
Oh.
Can we discuss?
Controversial.
Controversial. Mad controversial, son.
I
Mad.
mean,
It's about
I
your
guess
dating
all of us-
history. Your dating history.
In business on Front Street.
do we? Come on. I don't talk about my personal life.
There
on-
you go.
This is like
on-
30 years
for this
ago.
huh?
It's like 30 years ago. Isn't
Yeah,
even
it
personal
is.
anymore.
That's true. But I just, I don't even on social media. If you go to my social media, you
don't-
don't see
that's
who
right, you
my
don't do
family is. You don't see nothing. You don't see
There
what
it
I
is.
ate for dinner. I don't do
Yeah.
all.
I don't know why people take pictures of their meals. I don't understand it either. I was like, yeah, why? Like right
It's
before
just,
you eat it, you need to take a picture of it. It's like,
Yeah.
Show you what you're
I
missing.
got family members. Oh, you know how do they still do that on Facebook? They send you a thing. Oh, so and so wants to, connect, show that you're related or whatever. I'm like, nah.
it's all right.
I just ignore it. I don't even decline
What
it
they
enough.
do? Ancestry.com on Facebook?
No, it used to be. I don't know if they still do it. I'm social media now. There's so much information overload. I can't even keep up with all the different things. But it used to be something where a relative, like it's like a certain type of friend type thing, connection.
You
And
can
then-
say whether or not somebody was your sister
Yeah.
or your brother or your
And I don't
family. Yeah.
So you want to let us know what you came?
No, I'm gonna leave him alone.
Yeah, let's stop.
I'm gonna leave him alone now. You know what I'm saying?
But
You make me curious. Like something bad was said about me. Or
No.
something.
It's just no.
Neff, I do have something you sent me that you might
Yeah,
want to talk about since
Yes.
you are here.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and
you
get
write the news.
and not even because he's coming and going. So
He said until 9. He said though.
Oh, okay.
No,
so
I can't really until 9. My show starts at 9.
So 8:55.
I can do 8:40.
8:40.
we got 20 more minutes.
That's good. I'm better to have you then. And then next week he's going to start as a regular.
I
Wednesday,
appreciate how you the warmth and how you it's better to be wanted than not wanted.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
oh,
you-
Lord, here
I-
he come.
thought about you a lot of times around being a host because you do your own show, you're media savvy, you obviously have a lot of information. So it'd be fantastic if you can make some time, just one day a week, Wednesday, Thursday, one day a week, 8 to 10, son.
I'm
day.
sorry, I hate to make it, but I just so many other things going on. And just,
What's more
Hey,
important than teaching the
Kamau
masses
writes
about-
you your check.
What's more important than teaching the masses around politics?
I don't even know how you do it, brother. You got, and we got similar kind of commitment. You got CMB and I got PACA, and we just doing things. And I don't know. I can't put no more on. Plus,
Y'all always have messes. I feel like we always have a little mess in CMB now. There's always these personality things. I'm tired of personality.
we don't really have a lot of that in PACA. It's really no. But I mean, I think y'all have a bigger, more complicated establishment. You have more people. You got little chapters and stuff, and so it's a little bit more to manage than what we have right now. Not that we don't want that, we just ain't got there yet. And so
I thought we should merge.
we've thought
They
about
always
because
say no to me when I bring this up. They always say no. They give me watch. Hey, doctor, listen to this answer. Watch how delicately and nicely he tells me no.
He gonna let you down. So
He's gonna let me down. He's good at letting me down.
Yeah.
easy.
no,
This
that's
is The date was me and him 30 years ago. That was our date. And he let me down really easy. Watch, he's gonna do it again right now. Watch.
Can I do it for? Well,
Yeah,
we was talking about it, and we'll continue talking about it.
We'll get back to you, Kamau. It's kind of similar to that. But you know, in all seriousness about the movement, though, because I think it's an interesting. What it brings up to me is sort of the need for us to build broader, more established unity, united front, and all of that. Because there's several organizations, and we need unity. But then sometimes what I would refer to maybe as some organizational chauvinism or sentimental stuff prevents us from merging and things like that, or consolidating when we should or when we could. And then there's also practical things, and sometimes everything, just can't work. But I think at least for us in PACA, we've talked about conditions and, actually having the willingness to maybe, I don't want to surrender or submit, but to go through with something like that if the conditions talk about it, if the conditions reveal that that's best for the movement, submerging the organizational I guess integrity to the integrity of the movement. And I think we need to have that sometimes, but it's a complicated thing, merging organizations and whatnot, all kind of ideological things to consider, and missions and visions and all of that. But
as an organization, have y'all talked about expanding or wanting to expand? Or
we're set to be able to do from a very long time, but we also want to there's a whole lot, you know how it is. Mm-hmm. It's like we don't how we fundraise, we're just real grassroots. We don't do it. And then also there's a lot of things to talk about. The political party aspect. What feature does that play? What role does that play in our movement building, our theory of change? How do we do chapters and around the world, especially in a way? When do we expand? Because sometimes you can do it too early, and mess you up, and you can't incorporate all of that. You're still working with your, what you're trying to get established on the ground here, and so it's that stuff.
If you were to describe PACA to the audience, how would you describe PACA in terms of its organization, the kind of organization it is?
So we're that's a good question. We're Pan-Africanists or revolutionary Pan-Africanists, and I put that adjective on there to mean that a Pan-Africanism that necessarily includes being socialists, internationalists, anti-capitalists, obviously if you're socialist, and that, but also an understanding, the primacy of Africa, but at the same time understanding that those of us who don't live in Africa have to build local community, working class power. And what that means, and doing political education around that, and training people, organizational development, all that. But at the same time, seeing clearly and helping us all see clearly what does, in material terms, a connection to the continent of Africa mean, and a connection to our people in other places around the world. How does that, translate into real transformation of people's conditions on the ground everywhere, particularly where we are, local power and all that kind of stuff. And what does it mean? What is our relation to the state? We're anti obviously the settler state. We're anti neo-colonial, settler colonialism and all that. But at the same time, if you're socialist, what is the role of the state in a revolutionary transformation? And state in general in a more universal or generic term, so it's I don't know, I'm kind of going all around, but so we're trying to build local power and focusing a lot on political education, and also trying to help people understand what that means in terms of material, how do we get to a stage where we're impacting the material conditions of the people, but also doing it in a way that that buttresses like power, like how to assuming power, like politicization of the people, not just doing community service type stuff and charity, but actually doing things in a way that involves the people in their own liberation struggle.
All right. Well, what you got going on right here?
Thank you. So this is, and I'm not. I know y'all talked about it. I think have we been on here? We've talked about the alliance and the formation of the Confederation of States between Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, and that. And I think y'all talked about. So I don't know if I want to go too. I won't go too much into detail. But they formed what we know as the Alliance of Sahel States. These states are looking to obviously expand and take control over Africa's resources, over the resources that the countries have, these mineral resources, and use them for the benefit of the people. They've kicked out the French military, the U.S. military, AFRICOM, and kicking out the AFRICOM in particular goes right in line with the Black Alliance for Peace and our campaign, U.S. Out of Africa, Shut Down AFRICOM. It's October right now. And that is the 4th International Month of Action against AFRICOM. Given what the Alliance of Sahel States, and particularly Niger, has done in kicking out AFRICOM, and they completed that process in August, like all of the, AFRICOM personnel are out. We want to use this month to recognize what they've done. Normally, we are demonstrating. Demonstrations are associated with protest. This one is associated with appreciating what the states have done. These are I know they're known as military leaders, but these are led by the people. The people are actively involved in it, and they're embracing this process, and that's something important. And that also what they've done, we'd be naive to think that the U.S. and France and the NATO forces are going to be like, okay, well, they don't want us no more, and we just won't let them have that. Nah, they're maneuvering to eliminate this alliance and undermine it. So we're organizing Thursday at noon here in Washington, D.C. We're going to, as you can see there, the march and rally from assembling at the Mali embassy at 12 noon. We're going to rally a little bit. We're going to present them with a letter of appreciation, and maybe they'll come out. Maybe they'll say a few words. I don't know what they're going to do. And then march to the Niger embassy and then the Burkina Faso embassy, doing the same thing each time. These embassies are like a block.
I was just about to say, God damn.
So this is only like a 3-block little thing that's going to happen. And then also making sure that people, this is about politicizing the people. And if we can get coverage in those countries, then it inspires the people to know that they're not alone. Y'all might remember, of course you remember, the U.S. Invasion and pretty much decimation of the Libyan Jamahiriya in 2011. And there was not a lot of outcry, even leading up to it. It seemed to not be, we couldn't muster enough opposition to even show that we disagreed with what was happening. It was only after that you hear a lot of people talk about the key and pivotal role that Libya played in upholding Pan-Africanism and the unity of Africa. And we don't want that to happen. We don't want them to feel comfortable like this, just going to, like we're just going to stand idly by and let them do something and be silent while they do this. Now so we want the countries to know that we are with them and on, aware that this is a possibility, and that it's definitely something that they're maneuvering to do. A lot of coup attempts have been thwarted, particularly in Burkina Faso, by the people. They've been trying to overthrow Captain Ibrahim Traoré, who's the leader right now of that Burkina Faso. And that the people have been able to come together. They've mustered is the word?
Yeah, you can use that.
Like, the formations that are similar to the Committees for Defense of the Revolution in Cuba, and have been able to identify this, not just because people can think, well, this is just the army going around and doing whatever and protecting. Not as people are protecting this process, and they're very acutely aware and sensitive to what happened to Thomas Sankara, and so they're determined not to allow anything like that to happen again. And so this is what we also want people to see. But this is a new day, and we want people to know, because now we are in the age back and then when Thomas Sankara and that revolution was overthrown. We didn't have social media. We couldn't get on here like this, like we're doing right now. And since we can do it, we want to be able to communicate and establish connections and, with our people across the world. It's interesting, and I'll end with this. I've been in this kind of these little circles and chats and all that kind of stuff of people. And I'm gonna put out so-called leftists. And they keep putting out little kind of side eye looking at this. Oh, it's a military thing, and what can we, how are we, and they imply that those of us who are saying that this process should be defended and appreciated are doing it blindly, and we don't know what we talk about, and and it's also either either you support military coups or you support civilian rule kind of thing. There's no dialectical analysis of what it takes, and then no examination of what's happening in these countries in terms of using resources and reducing some of the disparities that people are facing and whatnot. They ignore all that. They just looking at some, and then they might bring up things like, for example, and we're going to acknowledge it. We don't that I think it was Burkina Faso passed an anti-LGBTQ law, so they'll bring up these things as a reason to reject the process, right? And as something that indicates the nature or the character of the leadership, right? Now it does say something, right? And we don't support homophobia or transphobia, any of that kind of stuff, but then the people have to go through their own process. That's part of self-determination. And when they bring it up, when people bring these things up, they bring it up as if it's divorced from where the people are, politically, ideologically right now. I mean, let's face it, some of that stuff was widespread. It's not like an unpopular law was passed and everybody's in the streets demonstrating against it. Unfortunately, that's not the case. It's not the case. It would be good if people could stand up against these things. But the point is, that's not our process. And every country has to go, in some ways, they have to go through their own process, just like Cuba did. Cuba was, people remember how, anti-LGBTQ and all that kind of stuff. And we've seen the statements from the Burkina Faso leader. We would never accept something, homosexuality or whatever. But we know dialectics tells us that these things are not just left up to the leaders. The people in the end will determine these things in the end. And as people grow and understand things and there's political education, then that's how you transform, something like that.
No, I agree. Yeah. And I just to add, and I think the most important thing is about the process, the prolonged struggle of it, that if you don't get from one place to another right away, it doesn't mean that struggle is not ongoing.
Right.
And without, and again, there's a lot of history around revolutionary movements being able to remain revolutionary and, like you said, adopt new ideas, tactics, strategies, and to use that as a way to sort of widen their revolutionary struggle.
That's right.
And it's not going to happen unless the masses of people there begin to become more politicized around the issue, to be honest. But that's not going to happen until it's happening within, right? It's not going to be something that it gets imposed. And in the meantime, you're also having to think about the material interest of the people, of the masses. And if Burkina Faso is doing things to take it out of the orbit of the imperialist empire, and also attempting to provide material benefits for the masses and the people, that adds to the struggle. That's not something to take away from. So I come from it from these. Of course, there's some for me individually, or there's some caution with any so-called military coup, but it does not mean that caution prevents me from celebrating, acknowledging, hoping for, advocating for the righteousness of the revolutionary struggle in the first place, and how, again, looking at history, how that struggle comes to be and how that struggle gets to do things to show the masses that we need to kick out Western imperialism in order to be able to control our own resources, in order to be able to redesign and redirect society. And I brought up that picture a couple of minutes ago with Burkina Faso potentially applying to be part of BRICS, because I think that's a really important development of either what we used to be called non-aligned states, or states that are not part of the Western Empire, again, attempting to form new organizations and international bodies. Again, even if amongst them they're not on the same page ideologically speaking, what they are on the same page of, and some of it's you can relate back to Malcolm in the Bang Dunk Conference, all the differences that folks have. The one thing that they seem to have in common is that they recognize the imperialist Western powers as their enemy. In Malcolm's day, he was talking about they represent the white man.
Right, he did say it like that.
Malcolm was clear on who the enemy was. But right now we're at a stage where we have these nation states which are now gathering in the next couple of days to think about how they can remove themselves from the unjust levers of Western dominance through economic means, through what they call the SWIFT money system, which international trade is based on, through dollarism, and through a whole bunch of other things. And so there's some important developments happening. But speaking of important developments, I don't want to leave man in the background.
We got no other Dr. Jerry.
Yo, what's
JB.
up, good people? What's up, Neffa?
What's good? What's good?
What's going on, man?
I've been enjoying the conversation.
Regular,
the background.
I heard.
Yeah.
Oh no, the background is for promoting today's 1 o'clock Patreon special with Renee, where she's going through her latest research on Kamala's advising team. It's some wild stuff. So yeah, folks should join us at 1 o'clock for a live Patreon. Huh?
You pull back your curse word. You think you on PFW now?
Yeah, I don't know. I see you when I start thinking I gotta be proper. I gotta, you know what I'm saying? I gotta check myself.
Yeah, when I go back, I gotta remember. Wait,
when I'm talking to the Black Jesus, I gotta come proper. You know what I'm saying?
What is this, man? Come on.
Nobody wants to go to hell. Nobody wants to go to hell.
You know what I'm saying? But listen, I know you real quick because you said you got to go, right? And there's a story that I really wanted to. This is perfect. I was trying to get here sooner, if you all don't mind.
No,
I didn't mean to cut off anything, but I know he said he's got to go, and I know Netflix. This is a topic area that you've historically been through, and we just saw this in my AAPRP study group, and I haven't been paying attention, but this latest story about Zimbabwe paying reparations to the white farmers and colonial settlers.
Oh no.
For the land that Mugabe took, Zimbabwe to compensate white farmers who lost land in seizures 20 years ago.
I don't. Is that what is this?
The story just came out the other day, last week.
They tried to float that story before years ago. I'm not sure.
I know, but apparently Mnangagwa is doing it. Zimbabwe will compensate local and foreign white farmers who lost land and property more than 20 years ago in farm seizures meant to address some of the wrongs of colonialism.
So he was declaring that they would never do that, but that's
they've approved 441 applications for compensation with 356 million from local white farmers. Go ahead.
So that does remind me, and this is a long time. Y'all got me running the clock close. So
I know you got to go. I just had to throw this at you real quick.
When the land redistribution, fast track land redistribution was initiated, there was part of that was to the compensation of white farmers or any farmers for improvements or something like that. It wasn't just a blanket kind of thing.
No, so the article goes through the story goes through some of that. So the 350 million they're saying is not for the land, it's for the infrastructure that they built on it.
And the only
20 million is going to whites who aren't even in Africa anymore, that are in their home European countries being compensated for lost investment.
They shouldn't be that. I mean, the point is, I guess I would reject it, especially given how hard the countries are having to struggle under sanctions and whatnot. I would just not even do it. I'm not sure what the point would be.
Yeah, they're going to give Zimbabwe back all the resources that it lost.
Right? How about that?
Sanctions alone.
Yeah.
Based on the lack of economic development, based on sanctions alone.
I mean, anybody giving destruction and everything else.
Yeah. The article says it has something to do like the debt that that Zimbabwe apparently owes the African Development Bank and its relationships to Bretton Woods stuff. That's what we're surmising in our study group. This story only says that it has something to do with the African Development Bank and the debt Zimbabwe owes them. But it's like, and that the deal had to be made to satisfy some of these white farmers to get this deal done with the bank. So it's like, it just feels a whole bunch of, I saw you were going to be on this one. I was rushing to get back.
I'm going to have to go look into it because I hadn't seen that.
Please. And let me know what you know.
All right. But I do have to go, and just I want to reiterate, get people out. If you're in the DC area, come join us. And also because what me and Kamal were talking about is it's recognizing but also defending this anti-imperialist move. You know, the imperialism, whatever you think about this Alliance of Sahel states, and all of them, not just one country, are making moves that are this is a re-emergence of a Pan-African project. And it's not just about these three countries. It has the potential of expanding. And this is what we should want. Something that's predicated on real self-determination, all that other military stuff. We should put that aside. And it's only us that's going to be able to change that. And we can only change it, or influence it rather, not change it, by having fraternal relations with our people there, not by sitting and talking some old liberal concept of democracy and protecting that bull crap. But anyway, that's a whole nother question.
I got one more question for you before you be out, because you told me you got until 8:45.
I know.
No, you got 3 more minutes. You got 3 more minutes. Let me get my 3-minute question in.
Go ahead.
Because somebody brought this up in the chat, and I thought this was interesting because I've never had a difference. Well, I've never seen the contradiction. Someone said, how do you reconcile Pan-Africanism with Black nationalism? And I was going to say, for me, I've never had to reconcile it because I've always seen those two as intertwined. Pan-Africanism being sort of a larger ultimate goal, but Black nationalism being sort of the self-determination and unity needed where you're at in order to even struggle for Pan-Africanism. So I just wanted to quickly ask you if you have a particular perspective or point of view on the idea.
I mean, very similar to you, and I think it fits into the broader struggle of, liberation for our people. I think one thing, though, that I use Black and African interchangeably is also more so to accommodate those who use Black, because I don't know how you're going to have a nationalism based on a Black. It's not, if land is central to, and control of some land is central to, nation building, then we got to think about who we are, and so I don't know. But I'm not disparaging people who, I don't think it's an argument that's worth it, but I do believe that being African and Pan-Africanism, as like you said, more of a higher stage or expanded nationalism, project. But this U.S. the enslavement of us and scattering us all around the world has done something, has complicated our situation like no other people in the world, and we kind of have to unpack a lot of things that some people don't have to go through, and they have their complications. Other peoples have their complications too as a result of colonization and enslavement. But I don't see those as something that need to be reconciled. Just like you, as it's just, it's not any kind of, and it's more of an ideological thing than it is any type of, project, how we proceed and whatnot. We got to fight for power wherever we are, and we got to be revolutionary about it, so that everybody benefits from what we gain as a collective.
So, Jared, let me tell you what you missed real quick before we take a break. CMB and PACA are becoming one organization.
Oh, word. And Nefa's going to be here a daily remix
every day. He said every day.
And then you coming to the membership meeting?
Yes, I will be there for you to beat me up. Yes.
Is CMB really going to? Are you really uniting on some level, or is that?
I gotta go. They calling me on this thing.
I'm still trying. They always tell me no.
Let's give it up for Net for Freeman, y'all.
All right, thanks, y'all. Love y'all, man. See you later.
Peace. Salute. See you tomorrow morning, 8:00 sharp.
That's right. Put pressure on them. Welcome out to Testosterone Tuesdays right here on the Remix Morning Show, y'all. This is Black Liberation Media. It's like facts. Let's get that straight. I guess we take a quick break, come back, chat some more, because I know we're not going to get into any news just yet. So, what?
We already did. I was breaking stories. Been here inside 30 seconds.
You know, I'm always ready for the news, son. That's what I'm here for.
All right. Let's take a quick break. We're going to come right back here on No Other Than the Remix Morning Show. Let's go. It's the start of your ending. What's good, everybody? Welcome out to the Remix Morning Show. I go by the name of the Ear Doctor. Thank y'all for tuning in and all them things. Hey, hit that like button if you just got up in here. We got 390 people watching live, so let's make sure we get them likes to match. Also, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Go to patreon.com. That over there is where you can become a member and you can get some content that we don't regularly do over here. Other than that, share like you really care. All right, with that said, let's go ahead and get to y'all know y'all need the weather report, and y'all know the only one that can bring it to you is me. So let me give it to you. All right, snap the map, and let's get to it. Let's start off in the ATL, y'all. ATL, we got a high today of 77 degrees. It's getting warmer, y'all. It was cold last week or the week before that. It's getting warmer. It was nice here too. They had the Clark Atlanta homecoming. I see Howard had their homecoming also. DC, yeah, they got a high 82 degrees today. It's hot up there, y'all. Chicago, they got a high 72 degrees. Houston, 85 degrees. Oakland, out on the West Coast, 70. Let's think about an island we might want to go to. I always thought about St. Lucia. They got a high today of 88. And last but not least, let's take it to the motherland, the otherland. Let's go to Cape Verde. Whoever talks about Cape Verde? Right here on the Remix Morning Show we do. They got a high today of 84 degrees. Now, other than that, I wanted to give a shout out to the elders that we lost on Sapelo Island this weekend. Saturday, a gangway collapsed in Georgia Barrier Island where there was elders in their 70s that died and one in their 90s that died and made their transition. And estimated 700 people were on Sapelo Island in Savannah to celebrate the Gullah Geechee History Festival. And yeah, a lot of people was over there and lost some elders there. So wanted to just pretty much have a moment of silence and show our respect to those elders over there in Sapelo Island. All right, let's do that. All right, big up to them and big up to their families. Hold it up. All right, with that said, let's get back to the Remix Morning Crew. You know how we do. Yeah. Yeah.
But it's supposed to be getting colder. That's the problem.
Hey, welcome to climate problems in the atmosphere. Did I say that right? I don't know.
Probably not.
I know what you meant.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
So, what's going on, fellas?
Nothing. I don't forget I'm a member of BAP. I just don't have the ability to keep up.
With the email, all the emails you get to me?
The emails, the meetings, it's a lot. So I've always said, I'm an insufficiently active member of several entities, including BAP. So I acknowledge it.
And you won't be there at the weekend retreat thing?
I doubt it. And it's not, I mean, I know that's not how it's not meant to be how it sounds. It's that it's just the reality. There's a lot going on.
It is what it is.
You know, I haven't watched that show I haven't watched the new season at all. I think
You're done, you're good.
Oh wait, Ricky, yeah, you called me, right? So I'll be there for some of that. That's right. But part of that weekend, I'm not going to be around, so I'll be there for some of it. That's true. Ricky called me 2 times. Wow. Yes.
You know how to use a phone?
But ever since Cam, Mace, and Tyson said they're voting for Trump, I think unconsciously that's what I just haven't been tuning in. So, and
I noticed there's a lot of people voting for Trump. I really don't know what's going to happen this election coming up.
And I'm terrible at predicting, so I don't predict. So,
while I don't want Kamala to win, I don't think I could go as far as actually voting for Trump. Like I'm not with the Tony Monteros and that crew with it.
No, never that.
I couldn't, I just wouldn't be able to physically do that. But
how many people you think consciously is like, you know what, I'm not going to vote this go around?
I think a lot of people. I think always a lot of people, either consciously or through not thinking it makes a difference. I think, in terms of the so-called democracies, like these Western democracies, these fake shells of democracies, the United States has one of the lowest historical turnouts of all of them. And I think that's been known for a long time because people see how corrupt the system is, how politicians in particular don't represent the interests of the individuals who are voting, and how people will say anything to you to get elected and come back and go back and work for the same corporations or development or capitalist interests that they had at the beginning. So I don't think people trust the system at all. I just think people don't find or figure. I don't know if people think that there's enough alternatives out there. We haven't figured out the ways to get people activated and organized around alternative visions and fighting back. And obviously that's because of the propaganda system that fights back against us doing that. But still, I think that part is on us. But I think there's a lot of people who are disconnected from the system who just don't give a fuck. Yeah. Whether it's just overtly political or political in a way of like, shrug of the shoulders, that ain't gonna make no difference.
Especially the people that's like, you know what, I'm not going to be pressured. And I think a lot of people, it's a lot of pressure right now. Like, you got to do this. And it's like, you know what, if I'm not being truthful to and honest with myself, I'm going to go out here and just be pressured and vote for whoever, not even looking at their policies, just because I don't want the other people all on my back. It's something like a cult thing going on right now. It's real wild.
And aren't we always told it's the most important election ever? Oh, I mean, that's the pressure.
There's like a whole set of elevated, well, they seem to find new and elevated challenges and warnings to raise every 4 years. And now because of this media environment, in part, the echo chamber is even louder. So it's everywhere. And I just keep, I never get an answer that's sufficient, but I keep asking, like, if you're really thinking Kamala is the only thing stopping the brown shirts from boot stepping down the, goose step or whatever down the street, then why do you think that only voting for her would stop that? Like, why do you, if you think we're that close, why do you think voting for her would actually stop that and be some sort of permanent advance? But anyway, and then I keep inviting people, look, I know you're going to do it. I know you're going to do it. For a lot of you, I know you're going to vote for Kamala. So at least commit in the intervening 4 years after the fact to trying to help build some alternatives, so that when we come back in 4 years, even if she wins and you realize nothing has advanced, we can have a different conversation. I've been trying to run that hustle since 2008, and it really has not been working. Because in 2008, everybody was clear, like, I'm only voting for him because he's black. Mm-hmm. I don't care about nothing else. I just want to see a black man in office. So I said, okay.
Now they want to see a black woman in office.
Fine. You get your black woman, fine. Then commit to me or to yourself to spend the following 4 years building up one of any number of alternatives. And then if Trump wins, similarly, do not commit to just voting for the next Democrat who we will be told has to come back to stop the madness, right? Because that was part of Biden's claim. I'm just going to stop the madness and get us back on track. And and back on track means another Trump-like type is on his way to winning.
And back on track means supporting Israel and committing a whole genocide. Back on track. That's what got us back on track meant, you know.
And I guess we shouldn't be surprised, but people have like that. Again, shout out to Hamas for, among other things, at one small thing that they did was reveal all the shady folks in this country yet again, who are like, I really don't care about all like that. Yeah, it's terrible, but I really don't care that much because Trump is just terrible.
Yeah. 50,000, 60,000, 70, whatever the latest count is, which we don't know even. Yeah. Like there's so many people. This is such a horrific thing. There's so many people who are literally buried under rubble.
Yeah,
like there's so many people, Gaza and now Lebanon, and so we won't know true numbers. But they're going to, and again, I'm giving conservative numbers when I say between 40 to 60. The estimates have been clear that there's well over 100,000 people who they believe has been murdered. We're talking about a population of about 2 million, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe even a little less than that. So we're talking about a population of like 5 to 10% of the entire population of an area has been wiped off the earth. And so when anybody says to me some madness around there, some other issues, like, really, B? Really? Yeah, like that's a sidestep for you because we got to get a black woman in, or because Trump is going to bring the fascism? It's like, whether you want to call it fascism enough, a government that is run by a small amount of individuals for the interest of a small amount of individuals who will use brute force to keep themselves in power, it is already here. There's no, and as George has said, decades ago at this stage, it was here then, particularly for the black community. There's no way you can be black and not understand how fascism has already been visited upon us. Like the leadership, the murdering of our leaders, the hoarding of us into ghettos, and all the ways in which we are the lowest on any number of statistical analysis around our conditions and positions here in the United States. And anytime we rise up, the response is a fascist, violent reaction that not only murders our leaders, but imprisons them, breaks up our organizations, propagandizes us into believing that the people who are fighting for us are our enemies. We already have lived under fascism. So all this other bullshit because other folks are scared of the same treatment, that's for me, it's like you have no understanding of what this country isn't about.
But
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
What's your thoughts about because what you were saying, Jared, within the two-party systems? What's your thoughts about within the next 4 years building up? Because it don't seem like it's going to happen in the party system, even the third party. It seems like you're going to have the Democrats and the Republicans, and then you got to have an organization outside of the whole party system that's going to be like, all right, we're going to hold your ass to the fire and be like, if you want this to happen, this organization needs y'all to do this certain things. It don't seem like it's going to happen with the third party. So it seems like it needs to be an outside of the party organization to be like, all right, this is what we need from y'all if you want our votes.
So to me, first of all, to me, for real, again, I am in that camp of people who do not believe voting is a solution to the massive of problems that we face. My only purpose for bringing up voting and engaging in electoral politics at all is because, and again, this logic is, I'm sure, flawed, but my reasoning is that it captures the topic captures so much space, especially every 4 years. But any political space, even among left spaces, evolves at least overt for public discussion and consumption, public political spaces. Everything reverts back on some level to something regarding policy, some policy. So my only reason for bringing it up at all is to say, if we're going to have any above ground overt engagement politically, there has to be some electoral component or argument. So that's why I've argued on the one hand for the after party idea. To your point, Ear Doctor, I would just like to see Black people, the African diaspora, brown, and all of these people unite in an electoral formation that says, to your point, you want our vote, here are the 3 things you got to do at bare minimum, and it could be, and big things like wild redistribution, getting off the land, like we need some big, massive change, universal health care, abolishing debt. Like we need massive calls.
Yeah.
The other point that my other reasoning is that if we can not agree, and this is what, whether we're doing a YouTube collective or voting, if we can't even do this shit, if we can't unite around this, how are we going to do the other stuff that really got to happen? Yeah. That's my other approach. I'm like, if I can't get you to vote with me, how are we going to do these other things that need serious levels of coordination and solidarity? How am I going to expect you? Reading this Maroon book is fucking my head up again. How am I going to expect you to? Because I'm always thinking I'm not strong enough to sit in there and do 50 years. Where's the rope at? Where's the hook being thrown over like he's talking about brothers getting caught with ropes and hooks in their cars trying to break people out. You're not breaking me out. I can't count on a group of people to bust through this wall if I just did all of that for us. Nah, man. So I need us to, so that's my logic. So yeah, I do think we need some advanced political party. I do think we do need that. I do think we have to be able to engage the overt structure that claims legality in a very radical way with the idea that this is going to push us somewhere else. But yeah, that's
the third party has they're looked at as the throwaway vote. They got a bad rap right now, so I don't even see it as.
But so this is my point. But if we who are, because a lot of the people who will say that point will also in a similar breath say, but I agree that that's what we need. It just can't win. So my point is, if you especially agree that it needs to happen, let's start building that option. The other point is as we've been talking in other circles with August Nimtz's work and some other stuff, like the point isn't to vote to win. The point is to vote to count and to tabulate where you are in terms of the numbers of people who support your similar politics. It's to make certain points. And then as I'll share this here again, Huri just reminded me of this on page 26 of Blood in My Eye, speaking of Kamal's reference to George Jackson. It isn't revolutionary or materialist to disconnect things, to disconnect revolutionary consciousness from revolutionary activity. To build consciousness with political agitation and educational issue making alone is idealistic rather than materialist. The effect has been reformism rather than revolution. When any election is held, it will fortify rather than destroy the credibility of the power brokers. When we participate in this election to win instead of disrupt, we're lending to its credibility and destroying our own. That's where I'm at. Like, I'm not in this to try to win so that we can become the head of this monstrosity. And then with this fantasy that even if we win a presidency, we can then mandate all of these changes down the line, which is not how it works for any president. We need massive movements that build. So the point should be, I just want to agitate with this vote. I want to agitate by having my voice be heard for my actual politics. So I want to advocate for parties, campaigns, candidates that are really representing what I actually want to see happen and who would actually do it were they elected. But that's, again, not the point. The point is disrupt, agitate, cause problems for this thing. Like, this thing has to fall. Like, this thing can't continue in this direction. And it is a struggle, and I know I'm going long, but it is a struggle to rationalize that. Because especially for me, because I have a cushy life. I'm chilling. Like, I could continue walking through the raindrops for the rest of my life and kind of be okay. But I want something more than that. So I don't want I don't know. I'm just getting.
No, I think you
got to
you're
do
on
some
point.
other shit.
No, your shit is.
That's what we're saying. Yeah.
You've said you've spoken it so well. Don't even. Yeah, I mean, I think you're exactly right that people get caught up in the I have to choose between these two because one of them has to win because somehow it's going to alleviate my problems or alleviate larger problems, or I'm rooting for somebody like a fanboy or fangirl because of what they look like. And it's like, that's none of that is the point. It is the point to disrupt. What are we doing to disrupt? Because the system is so big, it is international, that it's going to take pinpoints of struggle in different places to collectively bring it down. You know, and that's one reason why I'm so high on, let's say, like a BRICS thing. I want to do a show with what's the dude, Norton, Ben Norton.
Ben Norton.
Yeah, we should have him on because he just
chart,
did an hour and a half video on BRICS and, you know, what it means. And I think it'd be so great to explore the topic or bring it here because it's like these ideas are like these nation states, again, who don't collectively all have the same ideological belief system, but they know what imperialism is. They've been under the boot of imperialism for so long, and what it means to have a small set of countries dominate the world, right? To dominate the world, and how economics happen, sanctions, and the rest of it. Like they are doing, slowly but surely, I guess, a little too slowly for me. I'm like, can y'all come out with your new SWIFT system already, kind of thing? But all that said, that what they're doing is trying to break away from using the dollar as the currency of value and trade, as the reserve currency, and stop having the United States and Western Europe in charge of the ways in which trade happens, the IMF, the World Bank, all of that stuff. And that stuff is important because countries are now, again, so eager to join this particular system because they see it as a way out of the basically the noose that Western nations via the United States have them all in. And those are not necessarily, everything that they're doing is not overtly revolutionary, but they are doing it to disrupt. They say they're trying to disrupt the system. They actually use language like that. And who are we to not do, I mean, where we're at and situated. So like, you know, when you say like, if we can't even do ABC, and that's constantly a feeling of like, you know, why are we so immersed in these personality struggles when we're supposed to be here struggling around fighting empire? But we can't get by even the 2 or 3 people or 5 people or 6 people when these personalities is like, why are we centering these individual struggles between people as opposed to centering the movements that we supposedly came here together collectively to be fighting against? And so sometimes I think we don't even get that much, or we don't get that part. It's like the more we center our individual issues at hand, and not that some of them don't need to be resolved and the rest of it, but the more we center that as opposed to centering the larger struggle and how those efforts would make the personality things in a lot of ways dissipate, because it's like, it's not about whether or not about these people over here. It's about that right there. And so do that work. What's your logistical work in getting that done? And sometimes I think we just forget it because it's so easy to feel like, oh, we can change these little things about how we treat each other. Fuck that. It doesn't matter in a bigger scheme of things around battling capital or battling oppression or police violence visited upon our communities. So we just gotta figure, we gotta, you know, I think we've had moments, right? Particularly recently over the last 10 or 20 years, but those moments haven't crystallized. Because of course there've been the pushback, but they haven't crystallized into the mass movements that we need and the third parties of like, how do we get these third parties? And I've actually moved closer to the idea of the Green Party being that third party than I was maybe 6 months, a year, 2 years ago, whatever. And not obviously because I think there's some perfect party, but it feels like they have certain infrastructure that already exists that have only improved upon or somehow can be pushed, could represent what seems to be the beginning of a third party movement. I think even the attention that the Greens have gotten, particularly negatively, from Western media, from the New York Times on down, the attacks by the Democratic Party, I think all that speaks to their ability at this stage. And again, it's not the first time, but at this heightened period for them to be able to disrupt and to have an actual impact in terms of disruption when you see, because of the genocide, at least the calculated numbers in terms of polling of Muslims or Arab people, folks who are not voting for Kamala, but who are saying they're going to back the Green Party. Like, it's fucking the Democratic shit up, which is why they're constantly trying to hire lawyers to get the Green Party off the ticket, period. Like, not even to give you an option. So I think some of these things matter in terms of, again, bringing down the party. If you just endorse whoever they put up, you are not doing anything to struggle against them. You're going down to defeat with them if Trump wins. If Kamala loses, and you're with them, then again, they got no reason. Come out. She's right now on a tour with Liz Cheney to get the white Republican woman vote. That is where she's at. Because she got you leftists all locked the fuck up with no place to go because you don't see an alternative. She's not even worried about you. She's trying to peel off the right wing, so-called endorsers of fascism. That's where all of her energy is right now. A huge.
Not only not worried, she's explicitly telling black audiences that shit she's saying to Roland Martin and these other black journalists should be embarrassing. I'm not doing nothing for you. And whatever I do for everybody else will trickle down and help you anyway. So get on board, get on mission. And every answer to every question is, yeah, but he's going to be worse. My plan that won't help you, even if I could get it implemented, is still better than him. And that's all she's saying. And then you're right, this Liz Cheney, my God, I was telling my students yesterday, you all don't even, I was doing this typical old man thing. You all don't even know how bad this Cheney family is. I told them to go watch the movie Dick with Christian Bale playing Dick Cheney. I said, at least go watch that movie. This is the gangster of gangster. His whole family is gangsters. It's the man shot the dude in the face with a shotgun, and the dude apologized to him. That is the most thug story ever.
He's the new Penguin.
I mean, seriously. And this is the one she's saying is, proudly supporting her, and this is why we should support her. His presidency is the one Diddy told us to vote or die for to keep out of office.
Hey.
And now they're all in league with one another. Like it's yo. And then everybody's telling us, no, Jared, you're being irresponsible.
So it sounds like.
Let me just real quick. I'm sorry, because people keep thinking again, they put this rhetoric out. The left puts this rhetoric out to us that Trump, like they're here to stop Trump to defeat fascism. That's not what the established powers are trying to do. They think Trump is his own disruptor in some ways. And so there's a portion of the ruling class, of the business ruling class. It's like, the reason we don't want that motherfucker elected is not about any goddamn fascism. It's just that he's unruly. He makes us look bad. We can do this without the vehicle of a Trump in terms of continuing to have control over power, resources, and still be quote unquote respected in the world. So for them, the strategy is not, they don't give a damn about no fascism. The strategy is, can we put a better face in front of U.S. imperialism to keep the dollars rolling in so that we don't break this NATO shit apart, or we don't break apart the G7 or the G20, or this clumsy dude doesn't say things out loud that we've told him over and over again not to say because we think he's stupid. Their view is that he's just the dumber of the two candidates and he'll say some wild things. It's not that they're going to do anything so different, because half of the policies that Trump put in, they supported in the first place. And they continued after he got out. So it's not about the policies. It's not about fascism. It's that they want a more effective face in front of the American empire to continue dominance and to keep other nation states too thinking that somehow this is some rational, reasonable electoral system or leadership that they're going to be able to bargain with. Whereas Trump comes out and says things that are just fucking off the wall and crazy, and they want to avoid that.
I was just showing again the Pied Piper strategy that in 2015 was revealed through WikiLeaks, where they said we want Cruz, Trump, or Ben Carson as the Pied Piper candidates because they're easy to defeat. And this is the Democratic Party strategy, or operationalizing the strategy. Force all Republican candidates to lock themselves into extreme conservative positions that will hurt them in the general election, undermine any credibility trust Republican presidential candidates have to make inroads to our coalition of independents, muddy the waters on any potential attack lodged against Hillary Rodham Clinton.
And where they failed because they were so stupid is that they underestimated their white supremacist audience who loves a lot of that shit. They instead of folks going away from it, like they thought, oh, well, this guy is too much of a clown or whatever, so we're whatever. Like Trump has a built-in audience of overt white supremacists who are like, you know what? We like capitalism, but it's not doing enough for us anymore. So there's that real insurgency of everything from the Tea Party to Make America Great Again, which is really about establishing a capitalism where they think that instead of these corporations taking jobs and going overseas or letting in the immigrants to take their jobs, that what capitalism has failed at is that it is not giving enough resources to working class and middle class white people. And that's what they want back. They don't want an end to capitalism, an end to white rule, an end to white supremacy. Their big thing is that, look, you neoliberal types, right? You liberal types are opening up this spigot too big in terms of letting people in, and us no longer benefiting from our historical place in the white working class of being, look, we may be a lot of things, but at least we ain't niggas, right? That's their historical viewpoint. And now they're feeling like, whoa, we dipping deep down. We dip in these economic levels. We dip in the drug rates, the suicide rates. There's a part of the white intelligentsia and or ruling class which is far more concerned with getting that back. And the Democrats misunderstood that, thinking that somehow they were going to be able to capitalize off of some dumb person who says dumb things. But that's not what's happened. The white working class, in particular, not only just the white working class, but white folks in general, have eaten that shit up because they feel like they are, because of the demographic shifts, that they are now being dislodged from their historical place within the ruling class system. And then lastly, I'll say, like, this is something that Jared, I think it was actually you and Diallo at one point said this, and I always found it funny. Was for me the other thing is that as even the demographic shifts happen, and folks are thinking, oh, that means that we're going to be able to rule. It's like, no, white folks are comfortable ruling from the minority. They have no problem whatsoever of taking power or keeping power, i.e. South Africa, i.e. Israel, i.e. other places. They have no problem whatsoever shifting rhetoric, changing things to make sure that they retain power, both in mass and at the level of the class of the smaller 1% class. They have no problem. All mass incarceration, they have no problem whatsoever letting folks know that they will rule from the minority. All that demographic shift change, they don't give a damn about that.
No, rich whites, especially the elite of the elite, they've been happy to be a minority. They want to be an extreme minority. They don't want nobody in their group. They're like, you can't get in here. All these other extraneous whites, you can't get in here either. Like, but so yeah, absolutely. Now, we all need to lovingly encourage the sisters from Brokish to air the as yet unaired interview they just did with John Hope Bryant that I was fortunate enough to get a preview of last night, because this is part of where a lot of the I know it sounds like a quick segue, but it's not. It's really not, because this is where a lot of the mythologies imposed on Black audiences is coming from. This is Roland Martin's economic and analyst guy. This is the Operation Hope guy, the guy that says he gets everybody's credit score over 700 and gets you, you got 4 million clients and he gets everybody's, credit score up. They just did this interview. This man, with levels of condescension and arrogance that are really only reserved for women, to be delivered upon women. Like I honestly can't imagine he would have talked this way to two men. But he just claimed all of this authority and spewed an hour of absolute anti-reality regarding supposed financial literacy, capitalism, and what does not pose a threat to anything. There's no racist, there's no, racism is not a problem. The only issue is our mindset and our inability to have gotten the memo like Jews, Nigerians, and Asians have about how to get to the dollar. And that, and in that was peppered all of these things about what Kamala will do to protect the Black investor, the Black home buyer, the whatever, and that Trump, if anything, is really the only thing that and mindset. Trump and our mindset is the only thing. So I just encourage. I'm just saying all that because as I'm listening to us, I'm remembering, reflecting on this wild hour of discussion that I think would, as painful as it must have been for them to go through, would be so revealing for audiences to see and for us. So I'm hoping that they air it and that they allow me to be part of the follow-up critique of it, because it was bananas. And this man has access to untold thousands, if not millions, of Black people in audience. And this is the kind of logic that's being distributed broadly to our communities. And it was insane. It was wild. It was very wild. So sorry for that. I just,
So if we was looking at the scenario of looking at America as a business or even a restaurant business, and then you got the choice of Burger King, a king that looks prosperous and got jewelry on and a crown, and then you got McDonald's, then you got a clown that's appealing to all
and serving fries.
So do you want to pick the Burger King as somebody to lead America and go out into the other countries and be like, all right, prosperity, royalty, blah, blah, blah. Do you want this clown? Or then you got the third party that's Wendy's. Like,
but I don't like that. So I think the analogy is better. It would be better if Wendy's was a healthy, nutritious vegan.
I was thinking that, but I couldn't think of it.
Nutritious, because Burger King and McDonald's are basically the same thing with different messaging. Yeah, so exactly. The king and the clown are basically doing the same thing, and while one is pretending to be for the people, it is suppressing and unplugging all the gear and at the vegan spot. It's like going behind it. It's like turning over the fryer. Well, they wouldn't have a fryer, I'm assuming, but whatever they're doing in there, they're unplugging it. They're cutting the lights off and all that kind of stuff. They're sabotaging the operation because they know everybody would rather be over there getting that nice ear doctor cooked buffet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's I think more akin to the problem.
In fact, the first two are really a good analogy in terms of Burger King versus McDonald's, because America has already picked the clown. McDonald's is the biggest seller.
Yeah.
Right. They picked the clown over the nice person dressed in royalty, whatever. Burger King is always number two on the charts or whatever like that. But they're right. They say they serve the same shitty food that is terrible for you, that is filled with like sweeteners and chemicals, burgers that last like 8 years if you just sit it there, so it's not real meat. So America has already picked, and they've picked it because they've been propagandized to pick it, right?
Yeah.
So even with the agency that we can give people, even with your agency, if you've been shown over and over and over and over again that a cheap way to feed your family and it's placed right there in the neighborhood for you to easily go get it, and you can get it in all of like 45 seconds to a whatever, then of course, no matter what you may think intellectually, or you're, every now and then you're going to reach for that cheeseburger, you're going to reach for some of the fries, because you got hunger in your stomach. So that, in that way, I think those analogies of that the first two analogies, I think the third party one is some mom and pop spot that is vegan and healthy, and then the rest of it, it's catching on in some places, and they see that it's catching on, and they're going, they literally would just throw a firebomb through it. I mean, that's not even, they'll start with the sabotage, but if nothing works, then they'll just firebomb the place or whatever like that. So I think that's, again,
and they'll blame it on black men voters,
and blame it on black. I saw the flyer. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Wait, okay. So I was going to do it this way. So because my students, so Erica laced us with the run sheet. My students asked me if I had seen this, and I had not. So let me play this first, and then I'll do the other thing if I can, because I think this is. Did you all see this? Do you all know this show?
I know about it.
I saw the version of it when the dude was a cop, and all the black women started hitting the which was the better version.
Oh, really? Okay, that's a good version. Okay, all right. Well, this one is this.
Hello,
version.
ladies. I'm Trey. It's good to be here.
What do you do, and how much do you make?
I work in finance, making six figures.
How tall are you?
6'5".
Do you have a plan to vote in November?
Nah, not my thing.
Oh, I told y'all.
That's a setup off of the one. That's a setup off of the one that I saw and put up.
Oh,
apparently this is a real show.
Yeah.
Like, it's a real show. Yeah. So that's a commercial. That's the
right. That's what I was asked. That's what my students were asking if I had seen the Kamala balloon pop.
Telling y'all fellas, don't talk no politics if you're trying to go on a date till after November.
No. That's the setup though. But that's the setup. That's the setup commercial.
So, all right. So the to get the answers to that, join us tonight at 7:00 for this two-party system has failed black men, a dialogue on the need for a new system. I'm involved, Cameron Hertz involved, Eugene Puryear's involved, and of course, Mr. You Don't Read Beloved himself, Hiram Rivera is there. So that's tonight, 7:00 on Claudia's and Karina's Instagram Live. So come on through. It is a pretty fly flyer though.
Yeah. No. When I saw that, I was like, oh, this is great. I gotta make sure I put it out to folks.
And then Tell you was like, why am I not on it?
I wasn't going to go there, but
that wasn't
that was my first. That was the first thing that happened. It was like, nobody asked me.
I feel like the Green Party really has to do a hell of a promotional, like take this time and be like, all right, for the next 4 years, every time either party fucks up, we got to be like, this is why you have another option. They need to do a hell of a promotion because nobody knows about them. And if they be like, all right, we're finally your other option. You seen this, you seen that. They got to do a hell of a promotion to even be recognized for the next 4 years.
I agree.
What's his name? Yeah. That was a part of what's my man's name? Curtis's argument that I actually did agree with was, and again, I may be ignorant of things because I don't know all the inside knowledge of it, but I shouldn't have to know the inner workings of the Green Party to see them publicly doing things that would convince me as somebody who is open to a third party, like what are they doing outside the presidential elections, right? So I think it's incumbent upon them, like no matter what happens after November 4th or 6th, or whenever the election is, it is incumbent upon them to publicly be able to, with all the resources that are being poured in, whether or not they're right-wing resources or not, all the resources, all the names that they're getting to add to email lists and everything else in the world that they're getting at this particular stage. There's just a front page article in the New York Times profiling Jill Stein, obviously somewhat negative, but still putting her out there on Front Street, the party out there on Front Street. All of this stuff that they're getting, they need to make sure that they have a public strategy that assures folks like me and other people who are, again, on the cusp of being like, you know what is the Green Party doing? that shows publicly how they are trying to impact other races, how they're trying to impact local races, or even Senate or House Representative races. I was speaking to somebody a few days ago. I wrapped with this, and they are close to Cori Bush, and so they're close to the Democrats who were basically pushed out by other Democrats and Israeli lobby. And they just, they casually asked me what my advice would be. And I was like, they need to fucking join the Green Party. If they're going to be progressives and if they're too left for the Democrats, you got your Jamal Bowmans, you got your Nina Turners, you got your Cori Bushes. They should find a home in the Green Party. If they really want to fuck up the Democrats for what the Democrats did to them because of their positions, what the Black Caucus did to them by doing nothing to stand up for them, what the Democratic leadership did by doing nothing, not only to stand up for them, but some of them actually coming out and supporting the challenges, the Democratic challenges that are put up against them. If they really want to do something, then they need to join or join forces with the Green Party, because that would again create some sort of excitement amongst people who already know who these folks are. So if they really had politics beyond just being elected for themselves and challenge the Democratic establishment, what they need to do is to join forces with a vehicle that already exists that's built to take these alternative voices. And some of these people have gone, relatively speaking, pretty far in their condemnation of genocide that's happening and showing clearly that it is the Democrats committing this genocide. So these folks behind the scenes got to do more than just be social media pundits at this stage in their careers or lives. They got to build the vehicle. And they're in a position to build the vehicle. And I think that's part of what part of what the Green Party has to do in this time period is like, they got to start building the vehicle, which is going to show that they are the alternative party that is going to challenge the establishment.
Yeah, their PR department sucks.
I think that's a great idea, actually. Good advice. By the way, I kind of was reminded of this while you were talking, that one of the responses that damn, I just lost it. But that's, oh man, because it'll come back. But it was a defense against some of the claims that are waged to against people who might move in that direction. Oh, it's the whole point is part of the scare tactic that keeps people, I think, from doing that and for voting in that way is this idea that it's a throwing away of the vote, and therefore you then don't deserve to have any right to be properly governed or to be critical of those who are elected. To be, you don't have the right to be properly governed by or critical of those who are in fact. So, but we should remember that, as Kamala Harris has told everybody, I'm not here to do something specific to for black people. I'm here to work with Republicans to get elected to do something for the entire country. So that should also include those of us who will not vote for you. So this idea that I have to have voted for you to have rights and to enjoy my citizenship is part of the hustle of this fake ass democracy. So you shouldn't be elected to any office and then only govern for the handful of your constituents or your elite constituents. It should be for everybody that is in your purview, et cetera, and so forth. So that should be another reason why those who are in the Cori Bush or adjacent positions shouldn't be scolded against doing what Kamal just suggested, with this idea in part that you have now removed any listenable voice to those who are going to themselves be elected. You have to stay within that party structure if you even want to have a voice that they'll be willing to hear, which is, I think, part of the hustle, because they're not willing to hear it. That's why they got you ass out of there. If they were willing to hear you, they wouldn't have primaried your ass out of there. So go ahead and, I love that. That's exactly what people should do, and help build these alternatives. Similarly, because that call has been made, when Ralph Nader blew up, the call within the Green Party existed. Don't lose the momentum. And I still don't really understand enough of the details, but whatever existing leadership within the party that there is or was failed. and needs to do more, to your point here, Doctor, of having a PR campaign, of staying consistent in the intervening years with not only running for other offices, but having a mechanism to alert people to what you've done. And one idea that I used to want to promote that I thought was actually going to evolve in another PSL related thing was a relatively, I thought, easy thing that people could do, especially virtually, is the Green Party or other parties should have like a virtual national election that elects all of this Congress people and senators from every state, and create a virtual Congress that of what it would look like if the Greens or these other parties were to actually win all these seats. And then obviously it wouldn't be as often as all the votes that they take in real life, but as issues come up over every year, throughout the 4 years, you would be able to have this virtual space that could be voting and commenting on all these issues. Well, this law just passed, or this war just got funded. If we were in office, this is what would have happened, or these are the policies we would have voted on, or these are the and that way there could be like a consistent reference to these parties that people could turn to, and that journalists and podcasters could refer to, and stop acting like they don't know that these things exist and can't give it any coverage. And maybe that could build some momentum to in the intervening years. I also thought it would be kind of fun. Like, I wouldn't mind being a senator or congressman from Maryland and cast a virtual vote on X, Y, and Z issue every couple of weeks or whatever we were doing, and be able to say, look, had I been, if you had voted for me, this is what would have happened. You wouldn't have lost reproductive rights, or you wouldn't have lost this, or we wouldn't have funded this war. We would have redirected resources over
Stay
here.
in their face.
And stay in their face.
Yeah, they
like a mock government, exactly, like a mock government of some kind. I think
I'm gonna keep it a buck. I knew nothing about the Green Party until we had Cornell on here. I knew nothing about it,
and most don't. Most people don't. Yeah, that's not unusual. And again, there's reasons. There's propaganda reasons why, but there's also reasons, within the Green Party that, like as Jared spoke about, that are probably at least things that they can fix internally, that could make them a far more well-known organization, well-known party. And I think they have to do, it's incumbent upon them. Again, my assumption outside looking in is that they're raising more resources now than they probably have in a little while. Again, the larger reach that they've gotten off of some of these interviews and bios and stuff like that has to have increased their profile to a larger degree. The question becomes, now that this election is over, and Jill Stein is of a certain age, to be kind, where she probably won't be running again. So this is a stage and area, and again, I don't think she was even supposed to run this time.
Yeah, she didn't want to do it this time.
Yeah, she didn't want to do it this time. So they have to have a place where they begin building the momentum of what the party could be, if they're going to do something more than be sort of a spectacle of every 4 years. And again, that's incumbent upon them to figure that, to do more to figure that out, to create the vehicles in terms of the idea that you just came up with. They got to come up with the vehicles, and it's easy to do. The technology these days is extremely easy to do that, and to get people to come look and watch and listen, whatever like that. So they got to do a better job of doing that part to make themselves. And if they don't do it, again, the history shows us some other party or grouping will somewhat. You know what I mean?
They need to watch Brewster's Millions. I mean, and see how they did it for Richard Pryor. Just like straight up, like put all this money behind this third party and start promoting, because they not doing it, and you don't know about it.
Do you remember the plot of that movie? I don't think
he had to spend all his money to
inherit billions of dollars or whatever. He had to inherit $100 million.
From the point. The point is
but the point is there is no single benefactor that's going to come in for the Green Party like that. That's the point.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the people. Ain't that on organizations raising up the money to do that?
Well, one again, I'm a proponent of the idea that we don't need money as much as people think to do the things that we need to do.
Shit, playing in the big leagues, you do. If you plan on getting elected, you gotta put money behind. You gotta invest in yourself.
But again, I don't think that's a game we can play. That's sort of my point. There's no catching up financially, and with Citizens United, again, Exxon can take 1/10 of its budget and fund every candidate in the country to run against everything we would do. So I mean, my point is, I don't think what we need is organization and numbers, and we need to set up mechanisms for people to be able to do really minimal tasks to support us. That's why I'm saying, like, this virtual shadow cabinet idea. We need initially just to get people to be paying attention. And I think the best way to do that is to have people who already say they agree to work more together to magnify their efforts and to attract more support. That's the only way I see it happen. This idea that we're going to go out here and raise all this money and then I just never think that that's the way to do it. I think that's in part of the con that keeps us never getting there, because we can never catch up. We're never going to catch up to their money. The only thing we have are numbers.
So if we're talking about promotion, money buys up airwaves. Money buys up promotion. Money buys up being able to put you out there and be known. If the people that got all the money are doing that, then you ain't got no space to get in there. Get in the airwaves. Promote yourself. So if we're talking about promoting all the way into the next 4 years, if you ain't got no money to do that, then you're going to still be in the shadows.
They might need a little money, but they also need strategy and plans. And I mean, again, we didn't hear about this is a poor comparison, but Black Lives Matter, it wasn't because they had hundreds of millions of dollars. They had some money, don't get me wrong, but they also had a strategy and they hit at a moment. I think the Green Party has already hit at a moment. And what they need now is a more again, outside looking in, what they need now is a more coherent strategy around how to keep this momentum going. And some of that will involve the donations that they get from folks. But again, it's not about attempting to raise as much money as the parties, because they never will, because those parties are the parties of the billionaire class. They are the parties of the multi-billionaire corporations. Those parties will be out to destroy a Green Party, and all of the people who have those resources, when they look at a Green Party platform, for the most part, you're going to get some outliers, of course, but for the most part, those folks are going to be looking to destroy the party. If the Green Party were to even put together a successful propaganda machine that can make them more well-known to the general populace and see them as an alternative, I mean, understand the success in doing that also means that you're going to get these stories around the Green Party, internal financial distress or money being stolen. You're going to get sex scandals. You're going to get a whole bunch of things. You're going to get investigations. You're going to get a whole bunch of claims. But a lot of that, whether anything of that can be true or not, but a lot of that will be only based on the success of the Green Party. Just like now, the Democrats mostly putting up lawyers to knock the Green Party offers state tickets so that they can't even be on the ballot is a show of the success in the short term of the Green Party, particularly showing themselves to be the anti-genocide party. And that has moved them to a particular positioning. Now, the question becomes whether or not, again, they can hold that positioning and expand upon it within the short time period, within whatever time period they have post the election, or whether or not we don't hear from the Green Party again until 4 years from now during the next presidential election, which would be the biggest mistake that they could make.
Kamau was ready to snitch on Black Jesus's love life for free this morning. Imagine what happens when these PACs come around with billions of dollars, sprinkling people to open up people's closets and drawers and desktops and all that kind of stuff. It's going to be a lot of people. It's going to be a mess. It's going to be a mess.
So why are we going to a party we're not going to dance at? Like, it's like
you want to.
What I'm saying is, we know this party, these both parties ain't the parties we need to be going to. And then we want to have our own party, and ain't nobody gonna come to that because there's not enough people to fill the.
People will come. We created our own party here, Black Liberation Media. We got over 505 people listening, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you got to create it for them to come. You got to accept the fact that it's not going to be the quick way to being well known or getting elected or all the other stuff. The part of it is that you have a clear understanding of what the system is and what its role is, and that one of the ways in which you participate in defeating that system is by creating the alternatives that help knock that system down, whether or not those are grassroots organizations, revolutionary organizations, parties, mass-based, electoral engines. Once your ideological positioning is clear on who your enemy is, you understand that infiltrating your enemy is infiltrating your enemy to think that you're going to take over their thing is not how it usually works. Your infiltration may get you some intelligence, but usually what it gets you is co-opted, right? People who claim that I'm going to join this and I'm going to change it from within. 99% of the time, what you're really doing is committing even if you're sincere at it, what you're really doing is committing yourself to a lifetime of being pushed around and told what to do and threatened that if you don't do it, right? Again, if you give, I don't believe this is true again, but if you give AOC any credibility around this person was naively believing that they were going to go into the Democratic Party and shift it left, there's an example for you of what happens, even if you think that person had some, and I'm not doubting all of their integrity. If you believe at the beginning they had some integrity around, I really think we can do this or whatever. You see what's happened, right? They didn't have people behind them. They didn't have an organization behind them. They're almost the exact opposite of what's happened in terms of the Tea Party, which started as a grassroots grouping of people who are like, fuck this shit. These Black folks are taking over our stuff. We feel we're getting this and that. And they created a whole movement that people started throwing, like these rich white people some of them started throwing money at, but they had a clear ideological positioning, no matter what we think, around who was doing what to whom and what their role was. We have to figure out what our role is. And so part of our role means that we are not thinking that the Democratic Party, and just think of it like this way. Even if you got to a point where you thought you were moving the Democratic Party really, really, really left, what do you think is going to happen to all the resources that the billionaires have poured into the Democratic Party? You think they're going to keep pouring those resources in? Or they're going to be like, oh, so they've taken over this vehicle, bam, we're on to the next. And fuck this vehicle. And again, scandal on what this vehicle has become. And that's why we're taking our money away. Not because of their left positioning. Not because they've discovered some inclining of thinking about radical change. No. The party's been hijacked by fanatics, by extremists, by crazy people, and then they're doing all
that T word around too.
Yeah. And so they're going to take their money and move. So you're not taking so you need to create a vehicle that's already solid within, particularly when you're talking about these electoral politics things. And again, if it's not the Green Party, if the Green Party misses this moment, I think in this day and time, it'll be something else, right? And so the Green Party has a moment, it has an opportunity. I'm not sure, PSL, I don't really talk a lot about PSL because it's probably so connected to already a party apparatus and how big that can actually get. But maybe PSL might say, hey, you know what? With the success that we've had at running people, not it's going to be the same success as the Green Party, but with the success that they've had of keeping things, of keeping a certain element of the left engaged, they're going to break away and create an actual electoral party that still might be controlled by PSL if they're smart, right? That's how probably do it. But create a party that other people can join without joining the actual organization and use that as a vehicle for left change. So others are going to do that also if they're playing this long game, because it is a long game, right? It's not necessarily going to be something where you can just join something that's already pre-existing and make it into what you think you're going to have to make it into. You're going to have to be on the ground, dealing with it, building it up, figuring it out. And again, the reason I'm shifting a little bit in terms of like what the possibilities are with the Green Party is because I think during this election, they've shown themselves not perfectly, but they've shown themselves to be an anti-establishment party once again, and they've captured a certain momentum. And so I think that can bode well for what they can do in the near future if they pull those levers, if they figure it out, if they do it.
So this is the way it will work here, Doctor.
Okay.
Let me break it down in a way you might maybe understand better.
Break
so
it down, my brother.
So back in Western Maryland in 1997, there was this whole scene of bands at Frostburg State, right? And some had their popular followings from years back. They had already, built in a fan base, and they were having these big, huge, massive parties. When Mama's Biscuits first formed, nobody knew who we were. So we had to accept, we were like, look, we'll have our own smaller gatherings with a special select crew of folks that come through. The vibe is better. The music's better. People start leaving with bigger smiles on their face, going out into the community. People are like, why are you so happy? What you so happy for? And by 1999, we the biggest thing on campus. This is what I'm trying to say. So you don't, and now how it would really work is that a few people would gather with Mama's Biscuits. This is what we would advocate. Now, let me do it this way. What we should do when we have our new thing and Ear Doctors DJing our after party sessions and people start, peeking around and they, once we have a little strong crew of regulars who are committed to our thing, then maybe we invite a couple of them to quietly go off to one of the bigger parties and start unplugging some things and turning over some things and cutting off supply trucks, bringing the new party supplies over to their house and they get diverted over to our spot. You're saying little things like that.
Okay.
That's how.
Listen.
Now I think you get it.
Okay, Green Party, come over to Black Liberation Media for some PR tips because right now y'all need it and we got them. You know what I'm
saying? And we have affordable rates. Consultation rates are affordable. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to gouge you.
For real, because y'all need them because, man, it's really looked at as these two parties. And it's like we're not even invited to these parties. So when people be like, why aren't you voting for this or that? It's like, that's not the party I want to go to. It doesn't have a good band. It doesn't have a good DJ. And it's going to play the same old music over and over and over again. So I'd rather go to this party.
Yep.
All right. Well, there it is.
Well, I know we're wrapping up soon. That was incredible because I didn't even know we were at this time.
Right.
I got a job announcement for folks. So, so we've talked about a couple of times our workforce housing that we're doing here in Atlanta for community movement builders. We own about 4 properties in a particular Black community here in Atlanta, and we're moving in organizers, folks who want to be organizers, more importantly, but people who are committed, they have some politics, and they want to figure out how to be organized and how to struggle. What we've decided to do is to hire a local organizer to lead that up. So it's just project management, and it's training, and it's also organizing campaigns on the ground. So I'm gonna drop it in the chat. The link. I'm asking an experienced organizer to apply for this position. So if you're an experienced organizer and you're interested in living in Atlanta, if you don't already, you have some background with doing organizing campaigns, with helping people to settle mediation disputes, because that always happens, right? If you are good at leading people and helping support the growth and development of individuals who want to be strong community organizers at a local level and a city level, then we definitely want you to apply for this position. And it pays full-time salary. You got some benefits for you too. You got to be radical, revolutionary, Black. You can't say that out loud, You got to understand Black liberation,
gotta have some
ideology. You got to understand radical thinking and ideas. You got to bring forth your best leftist ideas, but you also got to play well with others. And so don't want know-it-alls, don't want people who don't know how to talk to other people who don't know more than them. We want experienced folks who've gone through this, who want to do this. So appreciate you. Apply now, because I won't talk about some of the applications I've gotten so far. So
you gotta say you gotta be a Hugh man.
Okay. Yeah. A Hugh man. as opposed
A
to
human.
human.
Yeah.
Don't be a non-human and apply. No.
Got to work around the words, man. You got to work around the words. Oh man, 5 minutes left. Listen, great conversation today about what needs to be done with this Green Party and what's going on with these two parties. That's pretty much, I think we just seen. Let me get her name right. Kamala. We just seen Kamala come here to Atlanta, and now you'll say she's going after the white women's vote. So she left the blacks, and now she's going to the whites. Who's next?
Yeah, I'm sure she'll probably pop up at somebody, some Asian bistro and some she'll do some. She might even swing through a mosque somewhere. Yeah, something like that. But
talk about hot salami and bacon instead of assalamu alaikum. Go ahead.
Doing this is. Wow.
Hot salami and bacon. Like, what?
To a Muslim too. That's deep. That's deep. That's deep. Deeply disrespectful. Wow. Yeah. But real quick, please everybody come back at 1:00 for our live Patreon special with Renee breaking down Kamala's advisor team, which is some wild stuff. And then on Karina and Claudia's IG at 7:00. What else? And make sure you have the bell rung because things happen on this channel I'm not even keeping up with. So make sure you have the bell rung so you don't miss stuff. And what else is happening? Remix tomorrow. Anything happening later today?
That's all I know about today. Classical breakdown. We're gonna do the Stevie Wonder in the 70s.
Oh,
yeah.
Just the 70s.
Just the 70s. Yeah, because you got so much music, you gotta just you gotta break it down. He was just here in Atlanta. He did a show. I'm mad I didn't make it. So
I know somebody who went. They sent me like a little video to make me jealous. I was like, God damn, that's Stevie. Right? And he was doing
one time I went to a wonderful party. DJ Spinner, shout out to him when he did one in DC and with those tributes to Stevie, and Stevie showed up and performed a little and everything. It was very dope. It was very dope.
Oh, that would be crazy if I went to a party.
It was crazy. It was
would be crazy.
Yeah, he showed up because apparently he shows up at Spinner's stuff every once in a while. I guess when it's convenient or whatever. And he walked up in there and got on the mic a little bit and then spent a lot of time just sitting and listening and just vibing out. It was wild.
Mm-hmm.
It was like he was hanging out. It was like,
I was in the club with Prince one time, boy. That guy.
Wow, word?
Yeah.
Wow.
Down
he's like 5, yeah.
Yeah, he's mad small.
Did he have the heels on?
Yeah, he had heels on.
I don't think he ever went outside without heels.
It was at the Red Velvet on Peachtree. He came through and I was like,
wow.
God. Yeah, it was wild. So that's what it is. Well, we got 2 minutes.
I know you're about to go, but like so. Quick.
I mean,
who's more of a living god right now than Stevie in terms of music?
Living
god.
Is there anybody?
If we talk about the Isley brothers, maybe.
Are they who's still around? Are they all
Isley.
still around?
Well, Ron Isley is.
Maybe all together they might be one Stevie. But...
Oh damn! How many Isleys does it take to make up one Stevie? That's messed up.
But you're right. Stevie is the last of the. Well,
I guess Smokey's around.
Smokey,
I
was about to say.
And Stevie.
Nah, but Smokey, man, whenever that time Smokey went up on
Charlie Wilson.
Charlie Wilson. That's not a bad one, but that's not Stevie quality, not Stevie level. But when Smokey went out there and did that whole thing on Russell Simmons' HBO thing some years ago and said, we not Africans, we only Black Americans. When he did that whole thing, I was like, wow, Smokey, what that got?
He kicked off ADOS.
Yeah, he kicked off ADOS. He was like, man, just sing, dude. Don't nobody want to hear all that.
Yeah, Stevie ain't said no stupid shit, so he all right.
What's his name is still here. This isn't helping.
Damn sure.
Commodores.
Lionel
Richie.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not Stevie, but I'm just
Stevie
saying
again,
he can get a little shout out. I don't
he had
know.
a time period. He
did.
He's not the cultural
I
phenomenon.
didn't like all them. I didn't like all that.
No,
Lionel in the 80s only had one good hit. And it
He
was
got into this habit of doing these
soon.
bad love songs and if they just got terror, like the Ballerina
yeah, too.
Girl.
And that's why the Commodores wanted to get. I think that's what caused the split. That they were like, we don't want to do all this love ballad nonsense.
Shaka
Yeah.
Khan.
Oh, and it got to be
Shaka
bad.
Khan, but she did the Republican National Convention though.
And didn't
Come
she go to? And didn't she do something either in South Africa or something with the Israelis?
Did she? Oh wow!
Or she went to Israel or something. She one of those two. One of the two pariah states she went to.
George Clinton. There you go. Now that's a good shout.
That's
The
what
chat,
they
the
see me.
undefeated chat. That's a good one.
Al Green.
He's
but
up there. Al Green.
Al Green. Important. Very important.
But not Stevie.
But not Stevie.
I
And
mean,
not
all
George
around-
Clinton either.
might
I wouldn't
be-
put him up there with George Clinton either.
Yeah, George Clinton doesn't have the commercial success of a Stevie, but the influence and the musical genius, he might be close. He might be up there. He'll be up there.
I don't think
Stevie Wonder's a
anybody's touching
musical
Stevie.
genius.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's touching Stevie. Listen, y'all, it's time to go. All right,
Wow.
so we will be
He was
back.
like exactly 2 minutes.
He said, I did my mix to begin the show.
He did. He
Exactly.
did. He
I
did.
did.
You
It
held
was
it
good.
down
It was
too.
good.
It was nice.
You
It
know,
was
I
nice. You did. You
appreciate
did.
it. So we'll be back here tomorrow morning at 8 with some Woo Man Wednesdays, and one of our favorite people in the chat room will be here, Ricky Ryan. All right, so make sure y'all tune.
Black Jesus is coming back.
You know it. All right, we catch y'all tomorrow morning. Remix Morning Show. We out of here, y'all. All right, let me give y'all a little of that. Peace.